This is Dead Serious, a show about short horror stories worthy of discussion. I'm Dead Palette, and I'm reading an SCP entry, Try Hard 7s. Today, at this moment in non-time, we are going to be finishing up the Instant Transmission Bus Trilogy with SCP-1680. If you haven't heard my episodes on SCP-1380 and 1480, I would highly recommend you go listen to those first. But let's get into SCP-1680 and round this out. Item number SCP-1680. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Site 33B is to be staffed with Foundation personnel trained in reception and processing of SCP-1680 instances. Site 33B is disguised as the dilapidated former location of Mission High School. Civilians attempting to investigate the interior of Site 33B are to be given amnestic treatment and return to their homes. Processing is to be followed by transportation to, and then there's crossed out, Site 38, and now it says Site 33 for relocation as determined by Site 33B, Command, or the Department of Human Resources. Any individuals inquiring into the anomalous behavior of SCP-1680-A are to be given amnesic treatment. When possible, the Foundation is to attempt to acquire homes within line of sight of the route of SCP-1680-A. So aside from the disguise aspect of this being a dilapidated former Mission High School, and what to do when civilians are attempting to investigate the interior of Site 33-B, we don't really know exactly what we're talking about here when they use terms like reception and processing. It's very liturgical, where we're not really getting into what this thing is just yet. Addendum. As of 02/11/09, all human resource agents stationed at Site 33B are to be of Level 4 rank or higher. Any Foundation personnel displaying insubordinate behavior in response to SCP-1680 processing and relocation orders are to be given amnestic treatment and reassigned. Amnestic. I keep having trouble with that word for some reason. So there is something that happened that where apparently we need higher ranked people from the Foundation to work with this SCP in question. Something about it has upgraded its threat level in some form or fashion. But let's move on to the description. SCP-1680 is a collection of identical humanoid entities, age estimated at 8 years. Okay, now we have something to talk about. Let's stop there. This is a collection of children. Let's be clear about this. Identical humanoid entities. This might have something to do with the flashes of light that we saw on in SCP-1480. These flashes of lights that I theorized were the, for lack of a better term, ghost of the children that disappeared during the events of SCP-1380. But let's press on. Instances of SCP-1680 are 137 centimeters in height and 38.5 kilograms in mass upon acquisition. Because their effectively identical nature, this document will discuss SCP-1680 as a collective unit. Okay, so that explains why it's not SCP-1681. You get the point. Fuck me. Through genetic testing, SCP-1680 has been determined to be an exact replica of Tyler Buchanan, an 8-year-old boy declared missing on 11-02-2007. So this is happening at the same time as the events of 1380, or what led to the anomalous behaviors of 1380. See Addendum 1680-1 for acquisition details for instances of SCP-1680 believe itself to be Tyler Buchanan and possess identical memories to the day of his disappearance. Genetic testing has concluded that each instance is genetically identical to one another and to the original Tyler Buchanan. Each instance of SCP-1680 demonstrates extreme emotional distress when exposed to other copies of SCP-1680. So obviously all of that is preternatural and everything, but I think the aspect of Tyler Buchanan seeing another copy of himself makes sense that he would have extreme emotional distress, because that's just what would happen with anyone if they saw an exact replica of themselves. So the idea is that I guess they have to sequester each instance of SCP-1618 away from the other instances. Anyway, SCP-1680A resembles a Type A chassis short school bus number 216756, license plate 5PWD 341. Examination of chassis and physical markings suggest it was manufactured by Canadian manufacturer Collins Bus Corporation in 2005. No bus matching this description has been located at any school, and manufacturing information is not available. I don't know what to make of this, but looking into the Collins Bus Corporation, they are stationed in Kansas and Texas, but here it's saying Canadian manufacturer. They're giving all of these details, and it seems as though they're inaccurate, which is bizarre to me. I don't know if that's purposeful or not. Anyway, the windows of SCP-1680A are effectively opaque. Nothing of the interior of the bus is visible until each instance of SCP-1680 crosses the threshold of the door and exits the vehicle. No personnel attempting to board the bus have been recovered to date. So I'm trying to logic this out. Does that mean that SCP-1680A housed every instance of SCP-1680, and when they were recovered, they were all the instances of SCP-1680 were interacting with each other, causing them all extreme emotional distress? Maybe, maybe not. We're going to get to the acquisition log soon and confirm or deny my theory. With varying frequency, SCP-1680A appears approximately 100 meters away from Site 33-B, drives to the site, opens its door, permits an instance of SCP-1680 to depart, drives away approximately 50 centimeters from the Site 33-B and disappears. Attempts to track the origin or destination of SCP-1680A have failed by all collective evidence. The bus comes into existence spontaneously, deposits SCP-1680, and disappears thereafter. Do you ever hear a word in a context in which you're not used to hearing it, and it just fucks with you even though it makes perfect sense? Like, the word deposit being used in that sentence really fucked with me for some reason, even though it's the proper way of using it, and it makes all sense that it should be done that way. You just always hear of deposit as, like, putting money in a place. But, it technically does mean the action of placing something in a specified place. So, it makes sense, yes, okay. And we're getting answers to my questions, so apparently this bus just comes into existence and tries to abduct instances of SCP-1680. From Site 33-B. No individuals living in the surrounding area have reported the unusual nature of this to any official authorities or made any inquiries to date. To date, all instances of SCP-1680 have claimed to have no memory of the bus ride itself or of anything between leaving school or arriving at Site 33-B. So to clarify before we move on, here's what is happening. SCP-1680A drives up to Site 33-B, opens its door, an instance of SCP-1680, then departs and has no memory of the bus ride. We don't know how many instances of SCP-1680 are inside Site 33-B, but it is a collection of them, and they are all identical. Addendum 1675-1 Acquisition Log. Tyler Buchanan was last seen leaving Dresden Elementary School in Dresden, Tennessee at approximately 1450 hours on 11-02-07, while he was scheduled to be transported by Bus 64 to Happy Homestead Daycare in Dresden. No individuals interviewed reported seeing him on board the bus. Rather, 2 teachers claimed he left the building but was called back by a science teacher to pick up his report card. Okay, so this explains why Tyler Buchanan is special. He has nothing to do with the children on the bus or the flashes. He is special, and we're starting to get an idea of how this ties in to 3318 and 1380 and 1480, because the other ones had to do with essentially one thing transporting itself to another area instantaneously, and now we're getting this child being slowly dropped off. Now we're getting an idea of why he is special. He was called to Vincent Cinder's classroom, and we'll figure out what happened from there. The science teacher in question could not be located. The bus itself was never located or recovered. Additionally, upon the disappearance of Buchanan and all children on Bus 64, interviews suggest that all potential witnesses at the school had gaps in their memory around the time the bus was boarding. Shortly after the bus was reported missing, anomalous activity was reported from the school's science lab as well. A cover story reported Bus 64 and all children aboard, along with Tyler Buchanan, as the victim of a terrorist attack against a rural school. So we've heard about this terrorist attack before, this terrorist attack cover story, and personally I would like to have a few more details about it, but everything checks out there. I want more information. The first instance of SCP-1680 was recovered on 11-02-07, so the day that the anomalous behaviors in SCP-1380 began. The Foundation had received reports suggesting that group of interested Lambda-33 Mana Charitable Foundation was maintaining a warehouse for collecting anomalous or potentially anomalous artifacts at the former site of Mission High School. Mobile Task Force Phi 22 was dispatched to investigate. Upon securing and inspecting the area and determining no caret mark 33 presence in the building, SCP-1680A made its first appearance at 1525 hours, deposing the first recovered instance of SCP-1680. The instance was presumed to be a non-anomalous child, transported to the nearest Foundation safe house and questioned. Yeah, because why would they assume there's something weird about this child? So I wonder if we have a connection between Mana Charitable Foundation and Vincent Cinder. If Vincent Cinder stole something from them or was working for them, was in cahoots with him in some way, some sort of relationship there, and that's where Vincent Cinder, the teacher that disappeared along with Tyler Buchanan, got anomalous materials and had what occurred with SCP-1380 happen. The instance was presumed to be non-anomalous. Okay, got that. Transported to the nearest safe house in question. SCP-1680-1 was administered Class C anesthetics and was about to be returned to his home using a cover story when SCP-1680-A reappeared 6 hours later at the same location and deposited another instance of SCP-1680. Both instances were detained while MTF, male to female, requested further instructions. By this time, Mobile Task Force, not male to female. By this time, Foundation authorities had determined that an undetermined anomalous situation had occurred at Dresden Elementary School, and that the then unclassified humanoid entity were then to be detained until further notice. So we're finally getting to the beginning of this story that started at SCP-1380, but we still don't have all the details, and I'm not sure that we will get them in the stories that are currently out there relating to the specific incidents of anomalous events. Addendum 1675-2 Relevant Memorandum 205 Command from Site-33 Command in response to SCP-1680. Attached is current documentation regarding SCP-1680. We are currently sitting on 2,410 instances of this phenomenon. Wow. That is a whole lot of Tyler Buchanan. We have most of them in chemical comas spread around half a dozen different sites. A few that have died have been cremated to reduce storage space. But containment is becoming increasingly difficult in terms of simple quantity of containment instances. Please advise. No particular answer was given in response to this memorandum. Okay, now we're going to press on. In response to D-Class shortage issues, current attrition rates of D-Class personnel are beginning to threaten standard channels of procurement. All site command departments are instructed to compose a report exploring the possibility of alternate means of securing significant numbers of D-Class personnel on short notice. Not sure why they need D-Class personnel for this child. And now that I think about it, I don't know why it's classified as Euclid. Maybe the response from Site-33 Command, or rather the response from, the response from 33 Command will explain this. In response to the response of D-Class shortage issues, report attached, including a copy of SCP-1680's documentation protocols for particular consideration. See attached studies regarding trainability and loyalty. Oh, they're going to be training Tyler Buchanans to be D-Class personnel, to train them to be disposable. See, my mind was going there as a possibility for something they could do, but I didn't think that they would actually do that. I don't know why I didn't think that. Instances are physically diminutive, but useful for most D-Class tasks not related to physical strength. They are going to kill a bunch of children. That is really dark. Given the otherwise non-anomalous nature of SCP-1680 iterations, non-anomalous others than the number of identical copies of instances, we are currently believe the standard concern regarding exposure of SCP phenomenon to one another are unwarranted under these circumstances. So, bearing in mind that there is that possible emotional distress, they are still going to press ahead and potentially use these SCP-1680s as disposable D-Class personnel. Addendum 1680-2. Dr. Jones, director of Site-33, has been promoted to level 5. Changes in training and orientation for SCP-1680 instances are to be put into effect 11-02-09. Okay, so it doesn't take long from the events of SCP-1380 until the Addendum 1680-2, where they're putting into effect using these children as cannon fodder for their experiments. All's fair in love and containment, I suppose. For more information regarding the anomalous events involving the school bus, please consult documentation for SCP-1680 for instances regarding an additional anomalous event connected to SCP-1380. Please consult documentation for SCP-1380. Footnotes. Due to similarities to SCP-3477, a direct link between two phenomenon is under investigation. 2. Information from the Collins Bus Corporation suggests the bus was stolen from manufacturing lot shortly after completion, apparently in Canada, not in Texas or Kansas as it should be. Anyway, this has been a really fun exploration, looking at SCPs that directly relate to each other. I'm probably going to do this again sometime in the future. I like that we started out with this cool little neat silly story about an SCP that is just a room that transports itself from one place to another, and then it goes to the ridiculousness of a bus on a moon of Saturn, and then ends up with, now the Foundation has an endless supply of children that they can just kill anytime, just treat them as disposable cannon fodder. Just put them in front of tanks that display anomalous behavior. That is really dark. And exploring how the SCP Foundation in upon itself is a ends justifies the means mentality organization, that is a horror in upon itself, a science fiction horror all its own of mass genocide of Tyler Buchanan's. We must get rid of every instance of Tyler Buchanan, says the SCP Foundation. This was nice and fun. Let me know what you think about this little experimental transportation bus set of stories down in the comments below. And I guess that wraps up this trilogy. Yeah. Now, if you enjoyed that, consider helping out the community and supporting my channel. You can support the community by conversing in the comments below, going to creativehorror.com, that's creativehorror.com, for a whole host of horror-based podcasts specifically for artists, writers, and anyone creative. You can support me by subscribing to the channel, following me on social media, links down in the description, and pledging to my Patreon, which is also down below. Thank you so much for your time, and now on to our sponsor at this non-moment in time. Food Pyramid. Food Pyramid. Carbo loading like it's the 90s.